Hey guys, welcome to the Zone Weekly. This is the week of February 10th, 2023. Quick update on some projects. We have some details about Zeta Black to be released soon, as well as a knowledge base. Myself, as well as the moderators, have been building out a knowledge base that goes through painstakingly every single question that could possibly be asked, or most at least, probably not every single question, and will allow us to build out a knowledge base that we can link back and be a central repository for all things Q&A, which will reduce the size of the Discord in addition to where the FAQ section sits, and just kind of condense the information down a little bit more and make things a little more organized and easy to find. You'll find more details about that in the coming days. Going over some weekly stats, we have a growth of 678 zones for the week, which is almost 17% more than the previous week's growth. So sitting at just over 4.5%. This is with no marketing. This is, really just word of mouth and organic growth. And it's a slow but very manageable pace. We have the HFT, high frequency trading performance to date, at just under 85%. This is the lifetime performance. And these are the HFT data points for those who hold zones. This is not for the Zeta Capital Fund. This is for those who have zones who are participating in the various tiers, who have had returns in the HFT. That's what this number is, just sitting under 85% for lifetime and 4%, a little over 4% for the week. Now, I don't know about you, but if you were to go and open up any kind of savings account at your bank, I don't think you'd get 4% in a week. You probably wouldn't even get 4% in a year. You probably not even get 4% in 2 years. So that's 4% in a single week. These are, of course, unrealized gains, but we've also had plenty of withdrawals deposited as well. We have over 55,000 tokens deposited into high-frequency trading. You could see that on the blockchain. And the tokens are purchased and bought back by our wealth management partner. Tokens aren't burned. They are just kind of sitting there for any type of business purposes that are necessary at the time, but are purchased on the back end. They don't go into any kind of financial instrument because Zeta tokens are not a financial instrument use. In other words, you can't take a Zeta token and go trade on a high-frequency trading platform. So the tokens stay in the HFT wallet, but the funds on the back end are used to purchase your position and create the position in the HFT using fiat, and then deposited and utilized using stablecoin and cryptocurrency as the on-ramp and off-ramp. We have a total of $10 million locked in value. This is including zone positions, not positions, but zones, I think, just generally speaking, among all of the wallets, which is still a little under 1,000 at this point. We have a total OTC, over-the-counter trading volume. It's actually, the screen shows 1 million. It is actually 1.1. It's over 1.1 million at this time. And it just continues growing and growing. We are getting an average of $25,000 every single day. If you go look at Dune Analytics, a big shout out to Ray from our Discord for building that and maintaining it and updating it on a daily basis. Go and check that out. You will see that in our Discord underneath the stats channel. He has a link in there and he posts updates on an ongoing basis. You will see all that data and you will see the daily volume. We've had some $40,000 and even $50,000 volume days. It's slowly overtaking the DEX. It's actually more than the DEX at this point. It's growing on a monthly, weekly, and daily basis. You see the ratio increasing on the OTC side on each of those figures. So monthly it's smaller, weekly it's bigger, daily it's bigger. So you see the OTC adoption rate increasing, and you see it overtaking the DEX as well. If you have not used the OTC, I would just encourage you, just give it a try. You don't have to post hundreds of tokens. So the way it works, and I've made a video on this previously, you could find it on our YouTube channel by just searching for Zeta Capital on YouTube. is you can post one token. You can post 100 tokens as a listing that you're looking to sell. Somebody sees the listing, they can click and buy. And when you're buying tokens on the OTC mechanism, you can buy fractional amounts. You do not have to, if somebody's listing 100 tokens, you do not have to buy the whole 100 tokens. You can click the 100 tokens and buy one. You can click the 100 tokens and buy 0.0001. If you have not used the OTC, I would just encourage you, give it a try. You can always pull your listing down if it doesn't sell, but just give it a shot. If you got some XETA tokens, you want to sell them, you don't want to impact the open market price, you want to try to lock in the value and not experience a volatility, take those tokens and list them on the OTC and see how fast they sell. Personally, it's taken me a few hours. Sometimes it takes a day or two. That's a little more rare because the OTC volume has increased so substantially that listings don't typically last that long anymore, although they could. Even if they do, you've successfully locked the value in without impacting the open market price. So you've actually maintained, I would argue, more value in your position. Especially if you're just trying to sell a couple tokens, say, for example, just to pay your fees, claim fees, monthly membership fees, but you want to deposit the rest of what you have into pools. Well, if you sell the small number of tokens on the market, you could potentially, depending on how many you're selling, drive the open market price down. And then when you go to deposit the rest of your tokens into the pools, you've now lowered your value. So what this OTC system does is if you take those same tokens, instead of selling on the DEX, you list them on OTC, you've protected the open market value of the tokens that you want to deposit into the pool, and you've also sold them and received the USD coin in return to pay your fees as well. So you've accomplished the same thing. I always appreciate the OTC because I think it's such a great utility point that I think some are still not using. I just want to encourage people to just give it a try. Even if you're just listing one token, just give it a shot. See how fast it sells. I think you will be surprised at it as well. So this is the Zone Weekly for the week of February 10th, 2023. Again, just to go over a summarized version of what we just spoke about again, 678 zones for the week, 4.5% or just under 17% more than the previous week's growth, just under 85% in high frequency trading performance for zone holders to date, just a little over 4% for the week, 55,000, just under 55,200 total tokens deposited into the high frequency trading utility service. Something that if you don't have the utility, all those tokens would have been sold, by the way, as just as a little side note. Because we have our utility here, that did not happen. We have over $10 million in value locked. And that is in zones. And that is over 165,000 tokens. That's a little over 5.25% weekly growth from the previous week. And of course, 1 million. And as of this morning, after this snapshot was taken, 1.1 million we've crossed over with a $25,000 average daily amount in total OTC volume. This is the Zone Weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Take care.